Hi everyone, Aiden here with eTrailer. Today on our 2017 Chevrolet Silverado 2500, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install these Glacier Chain snow tire chains. This is going to be a V-bar style chain, and the first thing you want to do when you're laying out your chains is make sure that nothing's tangled up. These ones are looking just fine right here, and then we also want to take note of the orientation. We want those V's for the V-bars facing up, and we want the cams to be on the outside. That way they're accessible when they're on the tire, and so the V's are not facing the tire. From there, you can grab the chain by the middle and carefully drape it over the tire. When you're doing this, just be careful to try to leave it all centered up. So you want it centered front to back as well as side to side, so that everything lays on there properly. And make sure that nothing gets tangled as you're doing this. Once you're happy with where everything's sitting, you can make your first connection around back. I'd say for right now, everything's looking pretty okay right there for us. Now on my side, there's going to be a hook right about there. And then on your side, there's a series of free links. You want to hook these two ends together. You don't need to necessarily go to the very end link. I'm going to actually probably go to the second one. You want to do this in your driveway at home once or twice just to get a feel for it and figure out which link is going to give you the best fit on your tire at home. Then we can move around front, and we can make that same connection with our hook and series of free links. Now on this one here, it's looking like I won't even be able to reach that outermost link, so I need to go to the back, loosen that up by one link so I can make my connection out front. And again, that's why we do this at home, so we can figure out what's going to work best for your tire. This one's a bit on the bigger side, so we need to install the chain on one of the looser settings. Again, just to ensure that we get a good, proper fit. And then from here, we can get that connection made, and you'll notice it's a bit loose. That's totally normal. We've got the built-in cams to take out some of that slack using your included tool. Just slot that in and give it a twist, and you can see that slack getting drawn out. Just go around to all four cams if you need to, or just until things are nice and snug. And right here, about halfway through turning that cam, I feel like it's putting too much pressure on that tire. Now, some of that might just be with the way the chain is sitting on there, or it might just be that we're pretty much ready to go. I'd say from there, that's plenty fine. Everything's really snug, and I always recommend adding a rubber tensioner over top of that as an added layer of security. It doesn't come with your kit, but it's something we always recommend just for that safety and to ensure that there's a more constant source of tension on the tire chain. When you're doing this, try to do it relatively evenly around the tire in a star-shaped pattern. And then I try to avoid the sections with the cam tensioners just because I don't want any pressure on those. And right about there is looking pretty good. And at this point, you can install the other side, drive over them a few times, get out and come check on them. As you drive, things might settle in and loosen up. Right now, everything's seeming pretty rock solid, but after we drive forward a bit and roll over them a few times, that might not be the case. If you need to tighten anything up, do that, and then you're ready to hit the road. Now, like we mentioned before, this is a V-bar style chain. You can see that on the tire pretty well right now. We've got those V's facing up and away from the tire to really give the maximum bite and grip into icy conditions. It's going to break up that ice and give us the most traction in those situations. Maybe not the best for ride quality or always on-road use. So if you find yourself in situations where it's more light snow or just kind of in the middle conditions, maybe consider a twist link or a square link. Otherwise, it's going to give us that maximum traction. The ladder pattern style is going to be good for starts and stops. Again, a little bit bumpier ride quality, but that's okay. That's probably not our concern with this type of chain. And it's going to be a low carbon steel. That's going to be a bit of a softer metal. So with these V's, it's going to make them less brittle, but it does mean that over time it might wear down a bit faster and you might have to replace them after a couple seasons. Just keep that in mind when you are using these and depending on how often you're using them. With this, you do get a storage bag. It's a pretty low quality bag. just a kind of thin canvas material, and the V-bar style chains especially tend to rip through these pretty quick. So for me, I always recommend just getting a plastic tote to keep these in, just because it's going to last longer and be water resistant. It's going to be easier to handle them too. And I like that these have the built-in cam tensioners. Really, any chain that has that manual adjustment, I like having that because it ensures we get a good snug fit on the tire. And as the tread wears down and the fit slightly changes, we can use those cams to do some more fine-tuning adjustments, in addition to that rubber tensioner that we also recommend. Now, if you're looking for a chain that's going to be a really nice heavy-duty option in those icing conditions, for your Silverado, I think it's going to be a great option. Thanks for watching.